Okay. That's right. Still light outside. I'm having an early night to bed. It's only about bloody 6:42, 6:43 p.m. Once again, I am knackered. Anyway. Sort of been looking around near work, and I thought I've got to work out a place that's a gym so I can go there for showers. And sure as eggs, what do you know? Very short distance away, bingo, I'll find one. Yeah, seems to be, it might well be a government-owned one. And you know, it's a fairly large, substantially large joint actually, so it'll definitely have the showers and whatnot. So yeah, that takes care of the shower problem. Now, in case for whatever reason they have a failure of one kind or another, I also want to get a hot water system, probably like the newer version of what I've already got, which has got a digital temperature control in the new version. What I've already got here in my house, get a similar thing. Not intending to use it on a regular basis, but, sort of something to have there that in case the need arises. I don't really feel like stuffing around with water pipe and trying to make my own up or anything. You go out, you buy, at the moment I'm a bit short on time, but not short on cash. So it's probably easy just to go out and buy one. And then, you got a proper unit. You're not going to catch the van on fire or any stupid shit, and there's all the chance in the world that I'll, get a roof rack on this van, and if I set it up correctly, you can do a lot of different things. You could almost put the blooming thing on the roof rack permanently, with a propane bottle, or, mount the propane bottle elsewhere, but, or you can set it all up so it's on basically on the, you get what it is, a bike rack type thing, it's a little bit like what Coates has got on the back of his van, where it's like a big bumper mount type thing. You either get something like that, or you get something like a bike rack type setup that goes in where your tow hitch is, and you can mount, a propane bottle off that or whatever. There's probably all ways and means of doing all this the right way and whatnot. Car propane tanks are usually mounted underneath the vehicle, so that might be something that is a plausible option there. But anyway, it's not a great idea to keep propane tanks inside the vehicle. The other thing is, you can actually, if you're not going to use it very often, you can buy the little disposable ones, and they're tiny little things, and they'll run so long as your shower doesn't go for any more than 10 minutes. And because they start to freeze up because of the amount of propane you draw out of them, but they work fine. I've had those for the, actually, come to think of it, for the Bearcat heater, which I still flaming own, which is one of those catalytic blooming heaters that apparently it's a bit like the buddy heater where you can more or less, have it, inside type thing. So I've got that in a bag just to keep all the dust off it and everything inside one of these wardrobes here. I think, really speaking, I'll go with electric heating because I don't really want any bullshit fume build-up, carbon monoxide issues, propane issues with any propane tanks inside an enclosed van or any bullshit like that, I mean, you can do a full fucking fairy meadow do-it-yourself type setup and fucking give yourself carbon monoxide poisoning, or you can, think a little bit more serious and say, maybe I should have a bumper mount for this propane tank or something like that, And there's a particular van where you can actually get it as an optional extra, put on by the bloody, either the manufacturer or the dealership. I think the dealership puts it on. I mean, if it wasn't put on by the manufacturer, you could get it put on later by the dealer. And that's like, instead of just a shitty bumper, they've got like the full bloody galvanised steel rack thing. So you step up on that and then step in through the back tailgate of the van. There's actually one of those going for sale for $5,000. It's like a 2008 model. Hyundai iLoad is what I'm talking about. But that one, it's only $5,000, but it's got a freaking... one of the valves has gone to shit on it. They reckon it's a sunken valve. They put a new head on the damn thing, didn't change it. So they reckon there's some valve that's, might have stretched a bit of some bullshit. But I wouldn't be buying that, because you got to probably buy a bloody engine replacement with it. And, it's a beautiful vehicle, I'll put it like that. But I don't know if I need to spend a lot of money on something that fancy, because I really don't need all the fancy multicolour illuminated gauges at night and everything like that. It doesn't really matter. I've had different thoughts regarding some of the design inside this thing. I've seen the hand basins that they have on some of the Amtrak carriages that actually fold up, and I've got an idea for a fold-up shower base. I don't intend to use this thing on a regular basis, but I want to carry around, say, what is it? It'll be about 200 litres of water. I'll work out that in gallons here in a second. This other phone thing. So I want to sort of carry that amount of water around, and maybe another bloody, a few more gallons extra, just for a shower alone. And so if anything turns to shit, I have trouble, they have trouble, they're closed for fix-ups, their hot water system blows, whatever, doesn't fucking matter. I've got another option for a shower, because, I remember a certain very well-known YouTuber with a lot of subscriptions, put up a thing of this house, and someone made a mention that on her channel that, some off-gridders ain't too worried about showers very often. Oh, this one is. Oh, trust me. I have a nightly shower. Do or fucking die, I have a nightly shower. I mean, it happens no matter what. And that's sort of why I want a backup shower. I don't really want to do the good old fucking nomadic, fraudmatic fucking, have a shower in the Walmart car parking lot. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. Plus, imagine doing that in the middle of winter. You'd freeze your friggin' tits off. Shit, it'd be unbelievable to try and do that in winter. And it's no big deal to have an extraction fan. In fact, I've got a 12-volt, 10-watt blower, and I tell you what, that fairly sucks air. So, I'd probably just end up using something like that. And it all sounds nice to have the whole shower curtain that just folds straight out and all that sort of stuff. And it's sort of interesting, the one Elvis showed once, the aisle one, where you actually have the lino floor, and that ends up being the shower base inside the van, the hallway or the aisle shower. I'd never seen anything like it in my friggin' life. I didn't know that shit existed. So yeah, it's about the tank I'm looking at, or hope to have, as my water capacity just for the shower, not for drinking water. It's probably about 52.5 gallons or something around there. So, and then of course you got to have some grey water sort of a catch, but there's interesting things you can do, like park on the nature strip. A lot of the times they have sidewalks, but they don't always have sidewalks here. Often enough they just have a strip of grass, and you can park on that overnight. especially if it's, you know, in an industrial area like where I work or whatever, and, you know, you just put her on the slow drip, and you just let it drip overnight and water the grass. And, yeah, it's been done before. I don't like the idea of just frickin', you know, shower curtain stuck out the side of a van, though. I mean, that's just, God, that's just fucking obnoxious. And then to do it in the middle of a fucking Walmart car park, like, give me a fucking break. Oh, it was off to one side. Oh, fucking, who has it? You know, what else are you going to do, you know? Fuck me. You might as well, like, while you're having a shower there and the water's pouring all over the ground of the fucking car park and everyone can see your bare ass sticking through the fucking shower curtain in the fucking car park, why don't you give the damn thing a fucking oil change in the car park, you know, maybe change the bloody brake pads as well, grease any fucking grease joints, fuck me, you know, there's a level that's just, I'm starting to understand what people are saying about obnoxiousness, you know, and it's like, there's a level where you can just go too fucking far, you know, fuck me. What next, you know, after you do the oil change and the fucking brake pad change, you're going to wipe your ass in front of them too, like, you know. It comes to a point where nobody wants to see you doing all this stuff in the car park, let alone see all the bubbly water blowing along the bitumen / blacktop, whatever you want to call it. You know, fucking hell. So anyway, if I have one, I see these little Amtrak carriages and they show the sink that folds up, and I thought, bloody fantastic. So I might have a fold-up sink. I may well have a... you know, well, I'm going to have a fucking fold-up shower base if I'm going to fit in the damn thing. You know, if it's going to be, unless it's going to be a super-sized van, you know. But I think it's something that I wouldn't use very much, so you wouldn't really want to have the thing permanently sat down. And it's not that big a deal, really, you know. You get PVC plastic, or you can just go get some heavy lino, or I can buy lino, obviously, from hardware stores and shit like that, and you know, you don't actually need to go flooring places. You can just get it from hardware stores. And I'm sure you guys can do the same. And, you know, that can be your base on a plywood base. I got some plywood from work, 3/4 inch ply this time, and fucking heavy duty the sort of shit you can walk on without it fucking, you know. You have a couple of bits of 4x2 under it, and I tell you what, or 6x2, cut on an angle, and you can stand on it and it won't even fucking bow. Like, it's good shit. It's very heavy duty shit. So anyway, it's actually used for concreting. It's the stuff with the black film on it, so it's sort of like almost semi-waterproof in that way anyway. But it won't be once you cut the sides. But then you can sort of paint the sides anyway, and I think that a good layer of paint would sort of waterproof them as well. But you know, just to stop any, but if you're not using it much, it's not going to get much fucking even steam on it or anything, you know. But anyway, long and short of it is, I think I just have one of those little toilets, you know, not the god-awful bucket with a plastic bag in it, another fucking inhumane fucking idea that's, why do you want to sleep next to your turds in a bucket? Oh, fuck me. Oh, there's a bag in the bucket. Oh, it's still your turds in the bucket and you're sleeping next to it. I don't like them, but my sister's got one of those little fucking... Oh, hell, I forget them. There's a very common brand name of them. They're like a little square toilet thing, and you got a little water tank in the back, which is only like a frickin' 2 gallons or something, and you know, it's all, well, maybe not even 2 gallons, and it's all a little thing that's basically got a seal, and you close the seal piece, and it blocks out the air. You know, and I'd have one of those, and it'd be in another sealed container with an air vent to the outside, because I don't want to smell that when I'm sleeping. I don't, you know, they've got fantastic seals in them, but I still don't flaming want to take any chances at, you know, any noxious fumes or things you don't want to smell inside an enclosed space like that. So I think I'd have one of those anyway, just because of my tendency to eat, out of date avocados and, maybe I didn't cook chicken enough. And, let's face it, it's never to do with cooking chicken. It's always these salads that are a little bit too far gone, or the avocados that are a little bit too far gone, or something else. And, you get that midnight urge to, move in a damn hurry, if you know what I mean. And for all the the hummus with coriander and chili in it that I had the other day, and things like that, you want to have some sort of toilet there. You don't want to be using it on a regular basis, but you do want to have some sort of a thing like that. And I think, in all honesty, what I would use on a regular basis is just a piss jug. There's so many blooming juice containers I've already got lying around here, and I understand the concept of a piss jug, and it's, you can pour it out at public toilet or whatever, and if push comes to shove and it's not as good as it could be, or you sort of miss and go down the side of it, doesn't matter, you just friggin' bin it and you got another one, And I don't think I'd be that obnoxious to throw it full into the bin. But at the same token, I wouldn't be using the same jug forever, if you know what I'm saying. You just, for the interest of cleanliness, I think I'd change the jug fairly often. But anyway, I think, really speaking, for heat, I'd have a dual battery system, and may well have a solar system hooked into that. And the long and short of it is that you get these heated seat cushions, and I've got one. I've seen a bunch on special, but you could only buy them online, and they're only $7 each, which is about like $4.50 US each for heated seat cushion. It looks like, if you haven't seen one, which you probably have in the US, but in Australia you don't see them very often at all. What it is, it's like a bloody, I wouldn't say it's like a car seat cover, but it's a similar type of thing where you just got this bit that covers like your frickin', the main bit you're sitting against, the bottom and your back. And then it's got these little straps that go around the thing that you got to tie off at the back or some shit. And the long and short of it is, you plug it in the cigarette lighter and it's heated. And I've actually had that. I've got one that I bought for like, I don't know, $15 or something. Deep discount from a place that was going bankrupt. And I had a real buy and spree there. I got face washers and frickin' hand towels that I'm still using. Well, I use them today. That's my main hand towels, and all these wood clamps and all this other bullshit. And I fairly let go. But I got one of those. And I'd never seen them before, and I got one, and I plugged it into the little battery system for the like your solar system for the cardboard house that I've still got running to this day. And you can, turn off the solar panel and then unplug it. That's how I've set this thing up. So I bought it in here. And it's got a cigarette lighter plug and everything, which actually broke the other day. And so I plugged it into that and turned that on. And I tell you what, unless it's like 5 degrees Celsius, which is probably like about 41 Fahrenheit or something like that, unless it's down there somewhere, I tell you what, you couldn't lay on this thing non-stop unless it's 41 Fahrenheit or 5 degrees Celsius or something around there. You just can't keep it on because it will get too warm. It literally will get that warm. and I had it with only about like 2 bed sheets or something between me and it. Frickin' hell, I couldn't believe what it was heating up like. Now I find there's another place in Australia that's a common store, auto parts store. To be honest, they sell a lot of junk and trinkets, and a lot of the stuff's pretty, just extra stupid bits and pieces that you really don't need unless you're a dickhead. But some of the things are good. They sell a fair heap of switches and that. They got a nice, like a bus bar, fully brass made type of bus bar. For the electrical stuff, you get car batteries there and that, but a lot of the stuff they got sort of, a little bit questionable, and a lot of car seat covers, a lot of stereo systems, stuff that's, not really, for all the people who like to jazz their cars up a bit, but actually end up being, there's a lot of dickheads in there, I'll put it like that. But anyway, never mind their customer base. They are the one place that all stores sell those heated cushions. Now, to be honest, they're not $7, they're not $15, actually $35. But at least I know if I blow my existing one up, I could get another one there. And I think that'd be the main heat I'd use. But instead of putting it on top of the mattress, I'd probably put it underneath the mattress. And I'm also pondering the idea of having like a variable resistor or something to try and control the current. And I've got to see someone and ask them about that. So I can sort of, turn the heat back to halfway or something, and then it might be a bit more realistic. But I think that'd be good for heating a van. The other thing is, you don't want to get too rocket science, and I don't really want to have the, whatever I said it was before, the Coleman Black Cat or whatever it is, heater that I've got. I don't really trust the idea of having one of those inside a vehicle. So even though it's supposed to have bugger all carbon monoxide. So I think the other thing is that the old candle pot heater. You get 2 ceramic pots and a piece of tile or a bit of cement sheet or whatever, and you put a little tea light candle in there. You light it up, plonk it in, and you let it burn away. Now, most of them, you'll know I've only go for 2 or 3 hours, but guess what? I found a place that sells ones that go for 8 to 9 hours, and they're not scented or anything like that, but 8 to 9 hours. Yeah. Which means a little bit of heat all night long, just to keep the chill out of the air while you've, got your beanie on, your little fluffy hat or your balaclava or ski mask, whatever you want to call it, just to keep your head and face warm. And, you got your electric, more or less an electric blanket in your heated seat cushion, coming from underneath, and keep the chill out of the air with a little tea light candle going. And I think, and all my reflectives, which I'll put up behind cardboard. I'm not a dickhead. I'm not going to stick them straight against the window, but I'd put them behind, cardboard against the window, then them. And I've got to work out how, probably rig it all up, one way or another on strings or something like that. We'll work something out in due course. I'll see what other people do and how that goes. But, yeah. So that's a few ideas there. Yeah. Probably have a fold-down bed. We'll see how we go. Somewhere, somehow, I've got to have a bit of water storage. And I'm sort of thinking maybe on the floor, on the passenger side of the vehicle, maybe have the second battery system there, maybe have water storage there or something like that. You sort of, wouldn't be a bad idea. I'll probably have something else that, needs to, sit there a little bit more on a permanent basis, and, have a water tank hidden under that or something like that. And I might have a separate one for drinking water, cooking, stuff like that. Long and short of it is, I believe I can get a foot pedal switch. I just about know I can, and I know where to get them from. I just got to ask if they still stock them, and I think they do. Nothing you can't make out of a usual push-on, push-off switch, but these ones will actually take, your boots banging against them because they're sort of fairly heavy-duty. have something like that hooked up to a little car washer system. And I know they don't put much water out, but something like that with your little car washer type thing, just so that I can, instead of turning me tap on with greasy hands or whatever, I've got a nice little foot pedal tap, which I like that sort of shit. And when I worked at the radiator joint, we actually had, because of lead contamination and shit, like lead getting on your hands from soldering, or on your gloves, but you know, I could get through your gloves. So part of the deal was you had to wash your hands before you went to smoko break, so you didn't consume any lead. And that was, you know, not an option, that was absolute policy. So what had happened is they said, well, we can't have taps that you turn on and off because then you'll be getting lead off the tap. So they made a blooming ultrasonic sensor one now. They got some of these in hospitals and places like that too. And I believe, the airport in the capital there, that has them as well. There's a couple of different fancy places you'll see them in. And there's another one too that's like the hospital style one. I've seen one of those recently in a bathroom in a supermarket, which is very rare for supermarkets here to have bathrooms, but I know one that does, like not the mall, but the actual shop itself, and it's like a disabled one, but the tap there got like the surgery style one where you turn it on with your elbows, but I've never really got to see the foot pedal ones, I don't think. But anyway, I'll make one up, and you don't need a ton of water streaming up, and because you know you'll run out of water fairly quick. And you know, if you just need to just slowly wash your hands, well, you know, one of these washers from the car washer system will probably go fine anyway. You know, so I'll have something like that hooked to the deep cycle, so I'm not trying to fidget around with those shitty ass little fucking plastic taps that they have on the bottom of water container things, and I don't really want to have that up high, because if I go around the corner and one of those falls off, well, bang, you know. It's like a 25 litre cube, which I think is like what is it? They got like a 10 or 11.5 gallon one. I think it's like a 15 gallon or something like that, or somewhere around there anyway. No, not 15. It might be 12, 13 gallon. And you know what I mean? They're like the big rectangular cube water containers. And you get those with taps, and I can go and get more taps, and I can put taps in them. I know how to do it. No big deal. They usually got a rubber O-ring, and you just drill a hole through the bloody bit where it's threaded. You just whack a drill in and drill the back of it out, and try and wash it out to get into your swarf out, and then, yeah, you wind your tap in to the hole, and the O-ring will tighten on it, and then you're right, sort of thing. But they're bloody shits of taps, to be quite honest. You know, hard to turn on and all that sort of stuff. And I don't want to be chicken fat on me fingers and dealing with that bullshit. So anyway, there's a few ideas of how it's all going to happen. There's a few things I've got to work out practical wise and stuff like that. You know, but I think in due course we'll get there without a problem and all that. I do sort of like the idea of leaving one seat in the back at least, even if it's only an individual seat in the back of a van, you know, and having a table that can fold out in front of that, so I've got somewhere to chuck me shit, you know. And I like the idea more or less of having, you know, some people have fold down tables, and I probably will have a fold down table too. Because I think I want everything to fold away. I want the sink to fold away. I want the shower base to fold away. And unlike everyone else, I definitely want the bed to fold away. But I may actually make it 2 fold away beds in case there's a girl in my life or something like that. And then, of course, you know, I want a fold away table as well. Yeah, not really into the things in your way on a permanent basis type thing. Not really. Especially, you look at all these other camper van builds and you look at it, it's like, fuck me, bro, like your whole camper van is like 80% or more bed. Some of these ones I'm seeing that you can buy second hand, people have literally got a delivery van throwing a bed in the back, and it's like fucking nearly 100% bed except the 2 front seats, you know, and you're like, fucking hell. But I'm not really into that type of thing. You know, I might want room to move. I might want room to throw a bit of me shit every now and then. You know, throw a bit of blooming shopping in there or whatever, and or some more clothes or more blooming couple of blankets or whatever, and you know, different random stuff. You know, might want to take home stuff from work or whatever, more plywood sheets or whatever. So yeah, but that's stuff to sort of think about and whatnot, and yeah.